Hugh Glass, Apple Tree Day, and an insurrection are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is January 6th, 2023. It is the 6th day of the year. We got 359 days left. It is the first Friday in the first week and the 17th day of winter. You got 73 days left until spring. If today's your birthday, you're still a Capricorn. Today is Apple Tree Day. We celebrate Apple Tree Day on January 6th to honor the great tradition of growing and cultivating apples across North America. Introduced in the region by colonists in the 17th century, apple farming has been the leading fruit production industry in the U.S. From cider to pies, the apple is a greatly versatile fruit with tremendous health benefits and mouth-watering tastes. I don't mind an apple every now and then. I'll take an orange and a banana over an apple any day. From their website, although they don't need any extra marketing, apples still deserve their annual recognition. It's like the fruit that sells itself, like a used car salesman line. All right, let's see what else January 6th has given us. 1912, German geophysicist Alfred Wegener first presents the theory of continental drift. 1930, Chelsea Cummins arrives at the National Automobile Show in New York City, having driven a car powered by one of his diesel engines from Indianapolis. 1941, United States President Franklin D. Roosevelt delivers his For Freedom speech in his State of the Union address. 1974, in response to the 1973 oil crisis, daylight savings time commences nearly 4 months early in the United States. 2021, supporters of U.S. President Donald Trump attacked the United States Capitol to disrupt the certification of the 2020 presidential election, resulting in 5 deaths and evacuation of the U.S. Congress. Now, there's some controversy or there's some debate over were there 5 deaths. One protester or insurrectionist, whatever you want to call it, Ashley Babbitt, an Air Force veteran who was fatally shot by a Capitol police officer as rioters tried to breach the House chambers. The next death was a man named Kevin D. Greason. He died of a heart attack collapsing on the sidewalk west of the Capitol on January 6th. Roseanne Boyland appeared to have been crushed in the stampede of fellow rioters as they surged against the police. The next was Benjamin Phillips, the founder of the pro-Trump website called Trumparoo, died of a stroke. Mr. Greason and Mr. Phillips died of natural causes, the Washington Medical Examiner said in April. They also said Ms. Boyland's death was caused by an accidental overdose, not being crushed. In the days and weeks following the riot, 5 police officers who had served in the Capitol riots on January 6th died. Officer Brian Sitnick of the Capitol Police, who was attacked by the mob, died on January 7th. The medical examiner found that he died from injuries sustained while physically engaged with the protesters. Officer Jeffrey Smith of the Metropolitan Police Department took his own life, as did Officer Howard S. Liebengood of the Capitol Police. The reason I bring all that up is there's always some kind of debate online about the deaths that actually happened there. Everyone's got their opinions, everyone's got their theories, everyone's got their conspiracies. But I think one thing most Americans agree with, it was a horrible day for the United States. Movies released on January 6, 2015, The Revenant. This is partially based on the real-life encounters of frontiersman Hugh Glass in the 1820s, which were detailed in a 2002 book called The Revenant. The film follows Glass as he seeks revenge on the men who left him for dead after a bear attack. So Glass was part of a group of men that were out trapping for a company. They were getting bear skin or beaver skin, whatever they were after. Well, while scouting for places to place traps, he surprised a mother grizzly and her cubs. The mother bear charged him, picked him up, bit, slashed, and lacerated him, severely wounding him, and forced him to the ground. Glass nevertheless managed to kill the bear with the help of his trapping party, but he was left badly mauled. The men were convinced Glass would not survive his injuries. Nevertheless, they carried Glass on a litter for 2 days, but doing so greatly slowed the pace of the group's travel. This was during the winter, so they didn't want to be out in the cold too much longer. The leader of the group asked for 2 volunteers to stay with Glass until he died, bury him, and then head back to Fort Kiowa. 2 men were left behind, and they started digging a grave for him while the party moved on. The 2 men eventually caught up with the party and said that they were attacked by Indians and had to leave him there. They had said he died, but they weren't able to bury him. Well, the thing is, he didn't die. Despite his injuries, Glass regained consciousness, found himself abandoned without weapons or equipment because those guys took his weapons and equipment, thought he wouldn't need them anymore because they thought he was going to die by the end of the day. He had a broken leg, deep cuts on his back, exposing his bare ribs. He was about 200 miles away from the nearest American settlement at Fort Kiowa on the Missouri River. Glass set the bone of his own leg, wrapped himself in the bear hide the companions had placed over him as a shroud, and began crawling back to Fort Kiowa, 200 miles away. He survived and sought revenge on those men and eventually killed them. He survived on berries and roots and whatever else he could find. The whole time he's fighting the cold and avoiding local indigenous people that would kill him if they saw him. He eventually found himself in a tributary to the Missouri River. He built a raft and floated in the freezing water down to Fort Kiowa. Sometimes there's just men that are tougher than the rest of us. If you ever get a chance, watch The Revenant. It's a great movie. It's a little bloody though. Born on January 6, 1970, Julie Chen, television personality who became the recognized face of Big Brother and The Talk. She also appeared as the anchor on the early show for CBS. She began her career by interning at CBS Morning News in 1990. There are several versions of Big Brother, like Big Brother UK, they're all over the world, and she is the longest serving host of the Big Brother franchise. She married Les Moonves, president and CEO of CBS Television, in December of 2004. They later welcomed a son named Charlie. Died on January 6, 1919, Theodore Roosevelt, President of the United States. He is always ranked up there in one of the top 10 presidents we've had. He was the 26th president and one of the earliest leaders of the progressive movement. He was the first president to win a Nobel Peace Prize. He was involved in the school newspaper, rowing, boxing, and fraternity life while attending Harvard University. He was the founder of the Bull Moose Party. He detested the nickname Teddy, but it is forever immortalized with the teddy bear. Yeah, it was kind of named after him. There's so much that goes into this man's life. First of all, everyone thinks he was like born in Montana or something like that. No, New York City, Manhattan to be exact. He was just an avid outdoorsman. He was the leader of the Rough Riders, which was the first U.S. voluntary cavalry regiment. Rough Riders charged San Juan Hill in the war in Cuba. He was the police commissioner of New York City and the vice president before he became the president of the United States. He died from a blood clot that had detached and got into his veins. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.